what I mean is he's dead, but he would want me to have a show. Maybe I should just leave this whole self-promotion thing to Leafs fan and Big D. On with the show, here's the Wayne theme song. Heffiewiggle. Heffiewiggle. He's a klutzy moron, but he knows some stuff about hockey. Subscribe. Yeah, no one sent in an entry. Maybe next time I should wait till I have more subscribers to put up a contest. Speaking of which, I have 51 subscribers. Thank you very much. Tell your friends about me. Maybe I can get to 100. So I guess I'm keeping this flag for myself now. Unless someone still wants to make me a theme song, if you send me one and I decide to use it, then I'll send you this flag. Until then, I'll just have to make my own. Hopefully I can put something good together. But I did get a few show name ideas from Dom the Archer on YouTube, aka the goalie on Leaf Space. So, welcome to the second season of Heffiewiggle presents the Heffiewiggle Hockey Report starring Heffiewiggle. Thank you. Thank you. You all are so wonderful. Kinda catchy. Seriously, I joke. The actual name is much cooler. It's In the Penalty Box with Heffiewiggle. Thank you, Dom the Archer. Okay, so I'm going crazy. Basically because of the lack of hockey news. The newest piece of news from the Phoenix fiasco is that a ruling has been delayed again, so nothing to talk about there. And the newest news on the Danny Heatley saga is that there is no news. And on top of that, TSN.ca's poll is asking me whether I agree with the firing of Paul Kelly from the NHLPA, when no one really knows why he was fired. But there is one thing that caught my attention, thanks to my friend KL Hockeytown from Leaf Space. Now, I don't know how many of you have heard of a site called Puck Prospectus, but they, like TSN, are doing a breakdown of where they feel each team will place next year. And their ranking was not too favorable of the Leafs. Now, I want to warn you, before you go check this out, if you get easily offended by Leaf bashing, try and keep your cool. Because basically that's what this is, Leaf bashing masquerading as a legitimate hockey blog. Let me give you a quick summary. 1. All of the Leafs defensemen are terrible and overhyped except for Caberlet, Ian White, and Mike Van Ryn. 2. Luke Schenn will never be anything more than a decent NHLer. 3. Jonas Gustafsson will be the next Henrik Lundqvist. 4. The Leafs' defense, despite being remodeled, will go from being 30th in the league to 28th in the league. And 5. Even though they say our offense has improved by trading Antropov and Dominic Moore for draft picks and trading Kubina away, our offense will go from 10th in the league to 22nd in the league. I'm still trying to figure out how that made sense to them when they wrote it. Anyway, the link's in the sidebar, go check it out, and feel free to email Ian, the guy who wrote it, to let him know your feedback. I certainly did. And yes, I kept it civil so it didn't just get dismissed as hate mail. Anyway, with all this nonsense going on, I decided to start this preseason off right, and that is with a roster prediction for next year. So here is my prediction of the Leafs lineup. This is my first attempt at this kind of thing, so bear with me, but based on what we've seen so far during the off-season and in years previous, here's what I think is going to happen with the Leafs this year. So we'll start in net. No surprises here. Burke said himself that Toskala will be the starter with Gustafsson doing backup duty. He'll see about 25 games this season just to get his feet wet in the NHL. Some people predict that Gustafsson will take over during the season. I don't see that happening. He'll be the backup as he adjusts to the North American game, and Toskala will be pushed to be better. Let's go on to defense. On the first defensive line, I see Caberlet, no surprises there, and Beauchemin. What? I'll explain that. Caberlet fits into this new Leafs lineup like an orange in a bushel of apples. I say that because he's a puck-moving defenseman as opposed to a big bruising defenseman. Now, it seems odd that I would pair him with a big guy like Beauchemin, but let me explain. Burke said that he wanted to see what Caberlet could do when he's not picking his teeth out from among the glass. So if we put some size around him, a big guy like Beauchemin taking out the obstacles, Caberlet will be able to work his magic more effectively. Now, some of you see Commissaric taking that position, but I think Beauchemin's a lot bigger and a lot meaner than Commissaric. Second pairing, Mike Commissaric and Luke Shen. This pairing puts Shen and Commissaric together, and that's because they both play a similar style. Commissaric will be able to help mentor Luke Shen and help him develop. While you may not agree with Commissaric on the second line, I think he would be able to play very well with Luke. Third pairing, Garnet XLB and Jeff Finger. This is a huge shutdown unit. These guys are going to check you into oblivion. With Finger and XLB both playing a very physical style, opposing forwards will think twice before crossing the blue line. Now I want to talk about Mike Van Ryn and Ian White. Some people might be upset about me leaving them out, and to be honest, I do feel bad leaving them out. But I really don't see where they fit in. They're effective players and have been great at times, but Burke has made his offense bigger and tougher, and I don't see Van Ryn and White fitting that mold. Originally, I thought you might have a Van Ryn Caberlet pairing until Burke said he was adding size around Caberlet to stop him from getting hit all night long. But this is part of having competition for jobs, and if someone's play slackens, they will be waiting in the wings to take over. Alright, let's move on to forwards, and here is where it gets a little tricky. Here's your first line. Playing center will be Mikhail Grabovski. On right wing will be Nikolai Kulemin, and on left wing will be Alexei Ponikarovsky. This line was great last year. They have got a lot of chemistry together. I'm predicting Mikhail Grabovski will have a breakout year, and so will Kulemin. These kids work well together. Let's move on to the second line. Your second line center is Matt Stajan. On right wing, we have Nicholas Hagman. And on left wing, the Shaken Blake himself, Jason Blake. Now, I know Jason Blake is more deserving of a first-line winger position because of the points he put up, but the first line that I envision has so much chemistry together, it would not be a good idea to mix them up. So Jason Blake, I'm sorry, but you're on the second line. As for Hagman, he's also proven to be effective with the Kulemin-Grabovski combo. So, should a lineup shuffle happen mid-year, you could see Ponikarovsky and Hagman switching spots. Moving quickly on to the third line. For center, we have John Mitchell. On left wing is Lee Stempniak, and on right wing is Christian Hansen. Now this is your energy line. This is a good place to put your youngsters to develop, like Christian Hansen. Now this is where we'll see most of the minor leaguers who are right on the cusp of NHL crack the lineup. This is where you'd see guys like Stahlberg, Christian Hansen, Tyler Bozak, even Ricard Wallin, although I think he'll spend the year in the minors. Stempniak may seem like a poor choice for the third line based on the numbers he put up in St. Louis, but he hasn't produced anywhere in Toronto. If he starts to put up points, he could make the jump to the second line, but for now, I'm sticking him on the third. And now we move on to the fourth line. For center, we see Wayne Primo. On left wing, Jamal Mayers. And on right wing, the big and tough Colton Orr. This is your checking line. These are the guys that you just want to hit the other team into submission. This is the line Burke's talking about when he says he wants other teams to fear facing Toronto. Wayne Primo was known as a good fourth liner and a good penalty killer in Calgary, so this is where he'll probably end up. He has the experience to lead this line. And of course, Jamal Mayers and Colton Orr are the two next biggest guys in your lineup. They play a very physical style as well. And if Wayne Primo doesn't make the big club, I would say my next choice for fourth line center is Andre Deveaux, but most likely Primo. So there's your lineup. Now I know some of you will be asking, Heffiewiggle, what about Erie Toulouse? Heffiewiggle, what about Ben Andres? Heffiewiggle, what about Filareskovich? Well, if I didn't mention them, I think they'll be with the Marlies this year. Heffiewiggle, what about Jamie Cyphers? Oh, I'm sorry, you're right, he will make the team in Minnesota. Anyway, my friends, that is it for now. I will be checking in later. The season is about to start, and Leaf fans, we are back. And of course, go Leafs go.